Hello? 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 Testing. Testing 1, 2, 3. Is it good? It's good? Okay, thanks for coming. This is our play about Joshua and the conquest of Canaan. So I guess we'll go. Okay. Moses, the Lord's servant, was dead. So the Lord spoke to Joshua, son of Nun, who had been the assistant of Moses.
Joshua, my servant Moses is dead. Now you must lead Israel across the Jordan River into the land I'm giving to all of you. Wherever you go, I will give you that land, as I promised Moses. I'll always be with you, Joshua, as I helped Moses, and no one will ever be able to defeat you. Long ago I promised the ancestors of Israel that I would give this land to their descendants, so be strong and brave. Be careful to do everything my servant Moses taught you. Never stop reading the book of the law he gave you. Day and night you must think about what it says, and if you obey it completely, you and Israel will be able to take this land. I have commanded you to be strong and brave. Don't ever be afraid or discouraged. I am the Lord your God and will be there to help you wherever you go.
In a few days we will cross over the Jordan River to take the land that the Lord our God is giving us. So pack what you'll need for the journey.
We'll cross the Jordan River to help our relatives. We'll fight anywhere you send us. If the Lord our God will help you as we help Moses, and if you're strong and brave, we'll even put to death anyone who rebels against you or disobeys you.
Joshua chose 2 men as spies and sent them from their camp at Acacia with these instructions.
Go across the river and find out as much as you can about the whole region, especially about the town of Jericho.
The 2 spies left the Israelite camp at Acacia and went to Jericho, where they decided to spend the night at the house of a prostitute named Rahab. But someone found out about them and told the king of Jericho.
Some Israelite men came here tonight in this spot.
So the king sent soldiers to Rahab's house to arrest the spies. Meanwhile, Rahab had taken the men up on the flat roof of her house and hidden them under some piles of flax splints that she had put there to dry. The soldiers came to her door and demanded,
Us have the men that are staying at your house. They're spies.
Some men did come here, but I don't know where they've come from. They left about sunset just before the town gate was about to close. I don't know where they're going, but if you hurry, you might be able to catch them.
The guards at the town gate let the soldiers leave Jericho, but they closed the gate again as soon as the soldiers went through. Then the soldiers headed towards the Jordan River to look for the spies at the place where people crossed the river. Rahab went back up on her roof. The spies were still awake, so she told them.
I know that the Lord God has given Israel this land. Everyone shakes in fear because of you. And we heard how the Lord dried up the Red Sea so you could leave Egypt, and we heard how you destroyed Sihon and Og, those 2 Amorite kings east of the Jordan. We know that the Lord your God rules heaven and earth, and we've lost our courage and our will to fight. Please promise me in the Lord's name that you will be as kind to my family as I have been to you. Do something to show that you will not let your people kill my mother and father and my brother and sisters in this house.
Rahab, if you be quiet what we're doing, we promise to be kind to you when the Lord gives us this land.
We pray that the Lord will kill us if we don't keep our promise.
Rahab's house was built into the town wall, and one of the windows in her house faced outside the wall. She gave the spies a rope, showed them the window, and said,
Use this rope to let yourself down to the ground on the outside of the wall. Then hide in the hills. The men who are looking for you won't be able to find you there, and will give up hope and come back to the city. Then you can be on your way.
You made us promise to let you and your family live. We keep our promise, but you can't tell anyone why we are here. You must tie this on your window when we attack. And your father, mother, Your brother and everyone else in your family must be here with you.
We'll take the blame if anyone who stays at your house gets hurt. But whoever leaves your house will be killed. It won't be our fault.
I'll do exactly what you said.
Then she sent them on their way and tied the red rope to the window. The spies hid in the hills for 3 days while the king's soldiers looked for them along the roads. As soon as the soldiers gave up and returned to Jericho, the 2 spies went down into the Jordan Valley and crossed the river. They reported to Joshua and told him everything that had happened.
Why says the Lord has given us the whole country?
The people shake fear when they think of us.
Early the next morning, Joshua and the Israelites packed up and left Acacia. They went to the Jordan River and camped there that night. As you can see, the Israelite packing process took a very long time.
Oh, you don't really want to be a priest of animal. Yeah.
2 days later, their leaders went through the camp shouting,
When you see some priests carrying the ark, you'll know it's time to cross over. You've never been there before, so you won't know where to go, so you can follow that.
But don't get too close. They're about 2,000 cubits back.
Joshua told the people.
Make yourselves acceptable to worship the Lord, because he's going to do some amazing things for us.
Then Joshua turned to the priests and said,
Take the ark and go on ahead of us to the Jordan River.
So the priests picked up the ark by its carrying poles and went on ahead.
Beginning today, I'll show the people that you are their leader, and they will know that I'm helping you as I helped Moses. Now tell the priests to go a little way into the river and stand there.
Joshua spoke to the people.
Come here and listen to what the Lord our God said he will do. Just look, the sacred ark that belongs to God, the ruler of the whole earth. As soon as the priests carrying the ark step into the river, the water will stop flowing and pile up as if a dam had been built across the river. The Lord has also said that each of the 12 tribes should choose one man to represent it.
The Israelites packed up and left camp. The priests carrying the ark walked in front until they came to the Jordan River. The water had risen over its banks as it often does in springtime, but as soon as the feet of the priests touched the water, the river stopped flowing and the water started piling up near the town of Adam, near Zarethan. No water flowed toward the Dead Sea, and the priests stood in the middle of the dry riverbed near Jericho while everyone else crossed over. After Israel had crossed the Jordan, the Lord said to Joshua,
Tell one man from each of the 12 tribes to pick up a large rock from where the priests are standing. Then have the men set up these rocks as a monument at the place where you camp tonight.
Joshua chose 12 men. He called them together and told them,
Go to the middle of the riverbed where the sacred ark is, and pick up a large rock. Carry it on your shoulder to our camp. There are 12 of you, so there will be one rock for each tribe. Someday, your children will ask, why are these rocks here? Then you can tell them how the water stopped flowing when the ark was being carried across the river. These rocks will always remind our people of what happened here today.
The men followed the instructions that the Lord had given Joshua. They picked up 12 rocks, one for each tribe, and carried them to the camp where they put them down. Joshua had some other men set up a monument next to the place where the priests were standing. The monument was also made of 12 large rocks and is still there in the middle of the river. The army got ready for battle and crossed the Jordan. They marched quickly past the sacred ark into the desert near Jericho. 40,000 soldiers from the tribes of Reuben, Gad, and East Manasseh led the way, as Moses had ordered. The priests stayed right where they were until the army had followed the orders that the Lord had given Moses and Joshua. Then the army watched as the priests carried the ark the rest of the way across. It was the 10th day of the first month of the year when Israel crossed the Jordan River. They set up camp at Gilgal, which was east of the land controlled by Jericho. The men who had carried the 12 rocks from the Jordan brought them to Joshua, and they made them into a monument. Then Joshua told the people,
Years from now, your children will ask you, why are these rocks here? Then you can tell them how the water stopped flowing, and how the Lord dried up the Jordan River so they could walk across. He did the same thing here for us that he did for the people at the Red Sea. Because he wants everyone on earth to know how powerful he is, and he wants us to worship only him.
Meanwhile, the people of Jericho had been locking the gates of their town wall because they were afraid of the Israelites. No one could go out or come in, the Lord said to Joshua.
Joshua, with my help, you and your army will defeat the king of Jericho and his army. You will capture the town. Here's how to do it. March slowly around Jericho once a day for 6 days. Take along the ark and have 7 priests walk in front of it, carrying trumpets. And on the 7th day, march slowly around the town 7 times while the priests blow their trumpets. Then the priests will blast on their trumpets and everyone will shout. The walls will fall down and your soldiers can go straight in from every side.
As soon as Joshua finished giving the orders, the army started marching. One group of soldiers led the way, with priests marching behind them and blowing trumpets. Then came the priests carrying the ark, followed by the rest of the soldiers. They obeyed Joshua's orders and carried the ark once around the town before returning to camp for the night. Early the next morning, Joshua and everyone else started marching around Jericho in the same order as the day before. The 7 priests blew the trumpets while everyone marched slowly around Jericho and back to camp. They did this once a day for 6 days. On the 7th day, the army got up at daybreak. They marched slowly around Jericho, the same as they had done for the past 6 days, except on this day they went around 7 times. Then the priests blew the trumpets, and the soldiers shouted as loud as they could.
Roar!
The walls of Jericho fell flat. Then the soldiers rushed up the hill, went straight into the town, and captured it. The only people that were saved were Rahab and her family, as the spies had promised. The lesson that we can take from this is to always follow God's direction and to trust that He can deliver us from any situation in life. We must not depart from His ways, or else we will be like Jericho, unwalled and unprotected. Only Rahab and her family were saved by fearing God. Only those strictly obedient to Joshua's word are to be saved. A sign is to be displayed in the window identifying the house of that of Rahab and her family. She, on behalf of her family, had shown spiritual insight, a desire for salvation, and an act of faith manifested by works. The scarlet robe, therefore, becomes a symbol of the gospel actively embraced, in other words, faith manifested by works. Let us all attempt to follow the spiritual Joshua, the Lord Jesus Christ, until he comes. The end.
Okay, before you get out of your outfit, so somebody wants to take pictures. Oscar, how do you doing?